Welcome to the 2014 ITV Spotlight Lecture. And we're delighted to have with us, all the way from San Francisco, Mr. Bob Hoffman. In short, he believes you are blind to the basic truths when it comes to online and social media. He thinks that the industry is deluded. We've had the God delusion, now we have the ad delusion. Or the ad contrarian, should I say. That's the name of his blog and his book. He was a founder and CEO of agencies including Hoffman Lewis, one of the largest on the West Coast. He's created advertising for McDonald's, Toyota, Shell, Nestle, Chevrolet, Bank of America, AT&T, and many more. As I say, he's provocative, he is stimulating, but is he right? You decide. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Hoffman.
Of the fairy tales of the advertising industry was that interactivity was going to make advertising more engaging and effective. Interactive advertising was once again going to disrupt the old forms of advertising and make them obsolete. Unfortunately for us ad hacks, however, it turns out that people have no interest whatsoever in interacting with advertising. In fact, online banner ads have a click-through rate lower than 1 in 1,000. This is not interactivity. This is absence of interactivity. The idea that the same consumer who was frantically clicking her TV remote to escape from ads was going to joyfully click her mouse to interact with them is going to go down as one of the all-time great advertising delusions. What's worse, an alarming amount of interaction with online advertising is apparently fraudulent. According to a report by CNET, only 38% of traffic on the web now is human. 62% is bots, scrapers, hackers, spammers, and other impersonators. And the amount of fraud being perpetrated on advertisers by online scammers is crazy. A recent study reported in the Wall Street Journal found that 54% of display ads paid for by advertisers between May 2012 and February 13 never appeared in front of a live human being. 54%. If the journal was correct, and the study projectable, it means that of the $14 billion spent on banner advertising last year in the US, $7.5 billion probably constituted some degree of deception or fraud. And according to Adweek magazine, this could reach $9.5 billion this year in the US alone. Getting excited here. Okay. Take another look at your Facebook page. Go there when we're done here. Don't do it now. When we're done here, go to your Facebook page. It's swimming in traditional paid ads. Count the number of paid ads and compare it to the number of conversations about brands. In fact, what social media sites are rapidly becoming is just one more channel for traditional paid advertising. Most brands are realizing that their social media programs are way more time-consuming, way more expensive, and way less capable of driving sales than was promised. The first crack in the wall came in 2010 when Pepsi canceled all its TV advertising and its Super Bowl advertising to great fanfare and bet big on what I believe was the largest experiment in social media marketing, ever attempted, the Pepsi Refresh Project. Time magazine quoted the CEO of a New York brand consultancy, quote, "This is exactly where Pepsi needs to be. These days, brands need to become a movement." Well, they became a movement, all right. I estimate the Refresh Project cost them between $50 and $100 million. It got them 3.5 million Facebook likes and a 5% loss in market share, which they seem to have never recovered. That year, they dropped from the second best-selling soft drink in the US to third. Pepsi's marketing director said, quote, The success has been overwhelming. We have more than doubled our Facebook fans. We have more than 24,000 Twitter fans. The LA Times didn't seem to agree. They called it, quote, a stunning fall from grace. Then in September 2012, our friends at Forrester Research, perhaps having had a few years to reconsider their previously immoderate statements, reported, quote, social media tactics are not meaningful sales drivers. The truth is that social is a barely negligible source of sales. I wonder what's worse than barely negligible, strongly negligible? A few months later, a story in the Wall Street Journal reported on a study IBM had done on the effect of social media. The journal commented, quote, there's one notable underperformer in the online shopping frenzy, social media. But perhaps the most stunning report was issued just a few weeks ago by McKinsey & Company, the consulting firm. This one sentence from their report sums it up, quote, email remains a more effective way to acquire customers than social media, nearly 40 times that of Facebook and Twitter combined. Finally, even Facebook, the face of social media, where the tired old ways of traditional advertising were coming face to face with the brave new world of the social consumer, seems to have given up on the fantasy of social media marketing. Just last week, Time magazine reported that Facebook's Pages platform reaches only 6% of a brand's followers, and it's headed down to 1% to 2%. In a statement that's absolutely mind-blowing, here's what a Facebook spokesperson had to say regarding social media marketing to Time magazine. Quote, if businesses want to make sure that people see their content, the best strategy is, and always has been, paid advertising. From Facebook. Here's what you need to know about social media. The hundreds of millions of people using social media are interested in interacting with each other. Not brands, not ads, not you, not me. So how has our industry reacted to the weak performance of social media marketing? Just like we always do. We created a mountain of false goals. Likes, followers, plus ones, uploads, downloads, links, bookmarks, forwarding, following, referring, clicking, friending, everything except the one thing we're supposed to be doing, selling. Now, before someone claims that I said there's no place for online advertising or social media in the world, let me state the obvious. Of course there is. But what there is no place for is the bullshit that has been associated with it. Are things changing? Of course they are. Things are always changing. But that's no excuse for a whole industry that's supposed to be creative and forward-thinking to sit back and operate on unreliable and irresponsible assertions that are hyped, promoted, and ballyhooed by people who have been wrong over and over. We have been subjected to 10 years of insufferable bullshit, and I, for one, am tired of it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. I'm sure you thought that was very entertaining. I told you it would be provocative. I can see everybody thinking, you're right, Luddite, dinosaur, a man from a previous age. Are you actually saying that big brands should never use online or social media? A total waste of time?
No, of course not. There is a use for it. And, boy, let me get into a little advertising theory, if I might, okay? Let's go back before online advertising to the traditional advertising where we had radio and television and we had magazines and newspapers. And the idea was that we used those to advertise to create demand. That was the objective. We were creating demand. Along with that, we had a funny little cousin of advertising called the Yellow Pages. Do you guys have the Yellow Pages here? Okay. And the Yellow Pages was different. The Yellow Pages was about fulfilling demand. When you knew you wanted a pizza for dinner, you went to the Yellow Pages and you found out where to get the pizza and you called it. Here comes the web, and we all assume, because we all draw straight lines, that the web is going to be like radio, television, magazine. It's going to be good for creating demand. Well, it's been my observation that it has not been good for creating demand. And if you want to prove that to yourself, go to your local supermarket and walk down the aisles and see what brands in the supermarket have been created by online advertising. And you'll find it's somewhere between almost none and none. There are no brands of peanut butter, no brands of soft drink or beer, no brands of toothpaste, no brands of soap, no brands of detergent that have been created by online advertising. However, what digital advertising has been terrific at is not the creating demand side, but the fulfilling demand side. When you know you want to go to London, where do you go? You go to the web to find out what the best airline rates are, what the good hotels to stay at are. So we have to think about how to use these different kinds of advertising channels in the best way possible. Now, I'm doing vast generalizations here because every brand is different and every product is different. But in general, I think television, radio, other traditional advertising forms have proven thus far to be way better at creating demand. And the web has been excellent, way better than the Yellow Pages was, at fulfilling demand.